All right, everyone, welcome to the MMAOB Daily Podcast, Monday, December 5th, 2022. I am your host, as always, Adam Martin, and I'm joined by my co-host here, as always, on Mondays, 5 p.m. Eastern, Mr. Big Marcel. Marcel, what's up, man?
What's up, man? Everything good? Lots of watching World Cup,
Yeah.
I honestly, I haven't missed a game unless it was like at the same time, on the third group games. I haven't missed one. So, yeah, lots of fun to watch that. And we had also MMA this weekend again with UFC, right? So,
Yep.
was a fun card. Looking forward to talk about it with you.
For sure, man. Always looking forward to it. Yeah, I've told you, Marcel, like soccer is not my sport, but I've been watching a lot of the World Cup too because it's on during the day, right? So I'm at home, I work from home, so it's like something to do. And then obviously we've been betting on. I keep asking you, I'm like, Marcel, who's going to win this game? You've been pretty good with your picks, except for last week with Brazil when they lost. I asked you, you're like, they're gonna fucking destroy Cameroon. They're gonna destroy it. I'm like, bro, they have their like bench playing, and he's like, you're like, no, they're still like the B team is better than any other team's A team.
Yeah, it's honestly like that, So, and last week was crazy. You had like Japan winning against Spain. You had like Tunisia winning against France. Brazil losing against Cameroon. It's like
crazy.
It was crazy outcomes. You had South Korea winning against Portugal.
Oh, that was crazy too, man. Yeah. And like you said, like there's been a lot of upsets, right? So if you've been those dog bettors, they've been making a lot of money. Now that we're in that next stage, it looks like the favorites are all taking it now at this point. There will be an upset though at some point. There's going to be some other upset. We just don't know what it's going to be. Anyway, speaking of upsets, we've got a lot of upsets on this UFC Orlando card, which we'll get into right now. I've got Glenn in the chat. What's up, Glenn? I said let's just get into it, Marcel. So just to get you guys up to speed, so we'll just recap UFC Orlando on this podcast, and then we'll do a second podcast. And we'll be previewing UFC 282. All right, let's get into it, Marcel. UFC Orlando recap, 14 fights, I believe it was. You know what, Marcel? This was a pretty tough card. I mean, a lot of upsets I didn't necessarily see coming, to be honest with you. I mean, there was a lot of fights that I thought, were close. And the only other, I did pick one dog. I think we both picked Phil Rowe. I was really, remember I messaged you and I'm like, dude, he's by knockout, he's plus 500. I was gonna put a few $100 on that, and then fucking the James Krause thing comes out, and we can't bet in Ontario now. So, I mean, I guess I should have. I haven't used offshore in like a while now, to be honest, because obviously it's legalized here. I should have put money in and bet on it because I really thought that would be a winner. It was plus 500. So I hope you guys tailed me though, because I really like that. It was in my article last week. Let's get into the card though here, Marcel. I just want to get some comments before we start. We've got John in the chat. He's talking about the main event. It was a fun fight for sure. George is here. What's up, George? Cod Pass, what's up, man? Yeah, so let's get into the main event. First off, I mean, I got to be honest with you, Marcel. Like, I was just so tired, and man, like, I was trying so hard to keep my eyes open. This card started really late, and like usually, I don't remember the last time I fell asleep, but as soon as RDA submitted Barberena, I'm like, I can't watch this fight. Like, I can't do it. I need to fall asleep. It was just such a long card. Not complaining. Obviously, love the fights, but I'm an old man now, right? So.
Adam, you know how late it was when I stepped into my bed? 7:45.
Did you have a nap like after before? Like
no, I don't do that.
You're crazy, bro. I literally couldn't keep my eyes open, right? And I have to get up early Sunday because I have my bowling league. So, anyways, I woke up and watched it the next morning. It was a good fight for sure. Thompson won. I'm not shocked he won. I mean, he's a great fighter. I mean, honestly, looking back now, like I should have picked him because he's the better striker on paper. It's just that I have a hard time picking these older fighters, but man, the guy still got it, right? Like it was a good fight. Holland did well at times in the fight, but obviously I guess he broke his hand. The corner was forced to stop the fight. He was going to lose anyways, Marcel, honestly. What was the scorecards? Was it 3-1 at that point?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Right? So he was going to lose anyways. Yeah, I mean, for Holland, you know what? Like, even though he lost, I still think he put on a pretty good fight, and like he's a top 10 opponent. It's not like that's the thing with Holland. Like, he's losing to like really elite guys lately. Like, it's not losing to bums, right? He's still a good fighter, but it was an opportunity for him to jump in the top 10 and he missed it. But for Thompson, this is a big win for him, Marcel. Like you know what, man? I'm just looking at his record right now. His last 3 wins, he's won bonuses. So when he's winning fights, he's doing well. Just don't match him up with the grappler, right? Keep him with strikers or guys that are going to stand and trade, and not take him to the ground. Because on the feet, he's a fun guy to watch. Now, Holland did get, the takedown at one point, Marcel. And I guess he didn't do enough with it. I had my boy Marcus Williams, he's always in the chat here, messaged me the other day, or maybe yesterday, actually, and he's just like, what did you think about Holland's fight IQ? Like, he had him on the ground. He should have tried to submit him, and I completely agree. I mean, he really should have. That was his opportunity, but it is what it is. He did hurt him at points on the feet too, but like as the fight goes on, like 5-round fight, that would favor Thompson in the striking battle, right? And he ends up winning it. So it's what it is. It was a good performance by both guys. I think they won fight of the night. Obviously, Marcel was a fun fight. But yeah, give me your thoughts, and I'll go through these comments. But give me your thoughts quickly on the main event.
This is so good, dude.
What is that? Let me see it.
That's Dr. Pepper Dark Berry.
They don't have that here. They have like the regular Dr. Pepper, which I don't really like that much, to be honest with you. Is that Jurassic Park or something? Is that what it says on me?
Yeah, that's why it's limited edition. You know?
Okay, that looks pretty good. Like I said, they have that like right. They have the red one here. It's not my favorite drink. I got to be honest with you. That's pretty cool though.
I got to be honest. This one is much better in my opinion than the normal one. So
I like the stuff. I feel like you guys in Europe get better stuff sometimes. As far as the drinks and stuff go. It's the same with like that. I really like off topic, but Fanta, like that.
Yeah.
They have like orange here, but like I know in Europe they have different flavors, right? Like I love that. It's like one of my favorite drinks. Anyways, get into the main event before we start talking about food here, Marcel. It's almost dinner time for me. I'm going to start talking about food here. Go ahead, Marcel. Give me your thoughts on the main event.
Maybe we should do a food show sometime.
We should, man.
Yeah.
Big boys talking about food we're going to eat. I know, right? Get a bigger audience for that than this. No, kidding. Go ahead, Marcel. Give me your thoughts, man.
I mean, it was a fun main event, man. Not gonna lie. It's like the first round. I think Holland did very well, but Thompson figured him out, his timing at a certain moment, and also Holland was obviously compromised with his injured right hand. But at the same time, I feel like, listen, man, it's what Holland does. I feel like Holland doesn't care to be ranked top or whatever. He just wants to get paid. And you see that the difference with, like, if he was smart, when the fight hit the ground, he kept it there. That was a smart approach, but he didn't want it. I think he let one of the boys stand up twice and just kickbox with him, and you can't do that with Thompson. Thompson is still, he's clean in what he does. His kicks are clean, his punches are clean. He doesn't get hit too much, yeah. That's what he does, and I think at a certain amount of time he figured him out, and he was just landing. And honestly, could have been stopped maybe earlier because Holland was barely responding to anything. And I mean with responding, like defending. He couldn't properly defend himself because he was compromised his right hand, and he was never out of the fight, but he was never going to win it anymore. You know what I mean? So I think it's good that the corner stopped the fight in the fourth round, because why should he go in for a fifth rounder? It wouldn't make sense. Would be stupid. Probably would have damaged the fist even more. Because it was pretty much damaged, which I saw in the picture. So yeah, I mean, good win for Thompson. A very necessary win for Thompson. Definitely, since he lost his last two fights against Gilbert Burns and Bilal Muhammad. And for Kevin Holland, it was a huge chance for him, dude. He fought the number 6 or 7 guy in the welterweight division without being ranked, and that's where I think, like, I respected a lot how he fights and that he wants to entertain the fans, but for his own career to come further into the top of the division, he should have a smarter approach, I think, Yeah. And he didn't, and it makes me sad to say he paid for it, because that sounds nasty, but he pretty much did, And Thompson, just still world class at 39, almost 40. It's actually crazy. He's one of these guys, who can still hang, definitely with the stand up with a lot of these top guys, I think, But always his issue has been against good fighters who've been fighting on the ground. You know what I mean? And you saw that against Burns and Bilal Muhammad, but against Holland had no problem with that. Fun fight. Not for me, not a fight of the year candidate like many people say. I think there have been many better fights, because for me, fight of the year has to be competitive, and this was only in the first round competitive, in my opinion. So yeah. No,
I agree with you. I mean, like, for me, it's still Glover and Yuri. I don't think I can think of a better fight. That fight is just epic. I mean, it was a good fight. Don't get me wrong, but like, I'm with you. I mean, that's a little hyperbole. Let me get some comments, guys. You guys send a lot of comments in here. James Cross owes you money. He does, man. Fucking guy. Like, we've been talking about him for months on here. I told you guys a few months ago. Remember, Marcel? I'm like, this is really sketchy. Like, he's taking over people's accounts. This dude's in so much trouble, guys. This dude is in so much shit. Like, it's more than him getting banned by the UFC. Like, this guy, is getting investigated by like I think he's getting investigated. I heard that I think it was the FBI, right? Marcel is investigating him now. Like he's fucked.
By the way, people
his
are really
career is ruined as a coach. By the way, what are you gonna say?
People are really concerned about the Figueiredo Moreno matchup, but I'm hearing Moreno is going to train somewhere else. So likely in Las Vegas, but I don't know where yet.
That's what I'm saying. He fucked over all those guys that like people left their homes. Like think about Moreno. Like he left Mexico to train there. Miles Johns, another guy, he left Texas to go to Kansas City to train. Do you think these guys want to go in Kansas City and live there? Come on, let's be honest here. Like, there's not much to do there besides watch the Chiefs play. They're there to train, and this guy screwed over a lot of people. He's just a bad dude, man. I've heard so much stuff the last week. We didn't even get a chance to talk about this. I have talked to so many people about this. Like, it's so much worse than what like we've been told than what we know. There's so much other stuff, Marcel. Like, it's really bad. That's what I'm going to say about that. Go ahead.
What do you think about, for example, they say everybody was affiliated with him is fucked, if they stay with him. What about, for example, I don't want to make her look bad or something, but Laura Sanko, who has a gig with UFC, with commentators.
Well, I think he's just going to be blacklisted from the sport. I don't think people are even going to like have anything to do with him anymore. And it's his fault. He was a greedy dude, very greedy guy who couldn't keep his mouth shut, went on Ariel's show, bragged about how much money he's making, talked about how he takes over people's accounts. I'm like, Marcel, isn't this illegal? Why would he admit that publicly? What a dumbass. Like, this guy's career is destroyed. And I'm so angry because he's hurt us now in Ontario. Like, they banned UFC betting in Ontario. You think I think it was Thursday. I woke up, Cole sent me this thing. He's like, yo, check this out. I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, I couldn't believe it, Marcel. I was absolutely in shock. I still am. And then Alberta's banned it. And watch other states and stuff are going to ban it. It's just horrible. Wait till it affects you guys. Some people are like, whatever. Like, you can live without it. But like, I can. But I enjoy betting on the sport. I enjoy making some money on it, like on the side, which I talked about. It's what it is. Let me get some more comments. Cod Pass says he's from Ontario. So pissed off betting on UFC's ban. I'm super pissed too. I mean, like, yeah. Again, we could open an offshore account. I don't really want to. I've had offshore accounts. I'm not saying they're all like this because I know some are good. But like, first off, like, I don't want to deal with Bitcoin. I don't want to do like a lot of them use that. I don't want to deal with that. Second off, in the past when I've used offshores, I mean, I'm not saying they're all like this, but like it's harder to get the money out to withdraw it. They always put you through the runaround in my experience. Right now I have a DraftKings account, Marcel. I can bet on a basketball game or a soccer game. I get my money to my bank account in 5 minutes. It's not like that with an offshore in my specific experience. I know some are good, especially when you use like a Bitcoin thing, but I don't have that. I don't use that. I just want to deal with money. The whole situation's so fucked. Anyways, let's get some more comments. What was Holland's 4th round plan? Being against the fence, head kicks. It was awful. I mean, at that point, I think his hand was broken. He was kind of defeated. That's why the corner threw, or I don't know if they threw the towel in, but they told the referee to stop. Was it called a corner stoppage?
Stoppage, yeah.
Yeah, it was a corner stoppage. All right. Go ahead. All the cancer stuff does the fights, makes it too slow. I mean, I thought the thing with Theodore was really nice, the way they did that, brought his family out there. You had told me that, Marcel, like last week. You're like, hey, they're going to do this thing for Elias because you had known about it. I didn't have. Did you have a problem with that? I didn't mind. Was there anything else that I'm forgetting about? Oh, he's talking about this Stuart Scott thing and stuff. The guy from the NBA or the Sports Center guy. Yeah, there was a lot. You're right, actually, Glenn. Now that I think about it, there was a lot of it, but it was like, it's not a bad thing to talk about. Like it's just something that's going to kill a lot of us. Quite frankly, it's sad. What are you gonna say?
The only thing that was really like uncomfortable is like those shots from when they showed like the parents of Elias.
Yeah,
and they showed them for like 50 seconds. It's like, stop putting that camera on these people who are already like probably emotional from what is happening, and they keep pushing it. And there was a guy next to them, and he was like
doing like a coach or something.
Yeah, he was doing this, and they kept that camera view. And that's so. Remember with the Takanori Gomi in the past when they put the camera on him, and he was like, "What the hell? Go away!" It's like at a sort of, you can just give him 15 seconds. Pass on to something else. Don't do that to these people, man. That's just weird,
For sure. A couple more comments here, Marcus. Just like I mentioned, Marcus, I know you sent me that DM. Holland never fights smart. Keep betting him. Yeah, he's a fun guy to watch. It's not true. When he got him down, his hands were already busted. Yeah, he likes Dr. Pepper. Big Marcel and Adrian Inez, Dr. Pepper stands. Yeah, I know that's his boy. What's up, Antoine? How was the weekend? I'm going through some things right now in my personal life that are, it's been pretty tough lately, to be honest with you. But I'm just trying to stay focused on, work and watching sports. So it was good, Antoine. I mean, overall, I guess. You guys think Kevin retires up? No. I mean, I know he did before the fight, right? He did retire, and then he took this fight. I think he'll keep fighting, but like again, he's got to have these fun fights where he's not fighting a grappler. If he fights another striker, he can have fun fights. Kevin Holland needs to know his nonsense coach like Save Saeed. Yeah, that would be a good coach actually. He's a great coach. That was not fight of the year. Fun fight. Yeah, it was good, but I agree with you guys. Says a lot about Holland. Wonderboy's first finish. Yeah, it's true actually. 6 years. Yeah, Figgy. Yeah, the whole thing with Moreno is crazy. I'm sure it will come out. His fighters took a dive. I completely agree. I mean, definitely someone is. Minner took a dive for sure. I mean, at this point, guys, like I think it's pretty fair to say Marcel. I told you last week, I watched the fight back. It's so sketchy. Like it's beyond sketchy.
After he injured his leg with a kick,
kicks again. Like it's really, and then literally, dude, if you watch the fight, he goes down, puts his hands on his head. And like I said, Dominic Cruz is like, why is he not defending? Why is he not shrimping? Like, why is he not making an attempt to like get up? Because he took a dive, guys. Like that's why the UFC released him. They probably would have cut him anyways, but like, yes, from what I've heard, okay, I shouldn't say for sure he take a dive, but like that seems like what's happened. I think I'm not the only one saying that, Marcel. What do you think? Like it seems like it, right?
It looked really weird, Let's put it that.
Very much so. And like again, all the money that came in on the first round knockout prop and under 2.5 rounds, like come on, like that Shaylin guy hadn't finished anyone, then all of a sudden destroys this guy in like 30 seconds or whatever it was. Like, I don't know. The whole thing is so sketchy. Like Krause is just a bad dude, man. Like I think he's really screwed over a lot of people. And I think the sad thing is like, and again, I've talked to some people that like are, dealing with it a little bit. Like people put their careers in this guy's hand and they trusted in Marcel and he let them down completely. Like I really hope the worst for this dude. He's just a bad dude. He really is, Marcel. He's not a good guy. He's fucked over so, including us in Ontario now. He's fucked us over. At first I'm like, okay, this is bad, but like it hasn't affected me personally. But now it's affected me, Marcel, and it's affected my wallet because I would have, been pretty good. I would have been up on the weekend from that card. The fights I targeted for bets like Yasmin, Levy, Rowe. Yeah, I mean, I would have been up on those. There were some fights where like I think I liked one Holland in the main event. So I would have lost on that, but the other ones I would have won on. So it affected my wallet. That's why I'm like even more angry than usual. If that makes sense. Marcel, trust me, like if it affected your like livelihood, which it has now, I mean it's gonna bother anyone, right? So how much longer Wonderboy looking that good, maybe 45 plus. He's one of those guys that like I think Machida is what, like 45, maybe 46 now, or Anderson Silva. Like I think he can fight that long, Let me get to more comments. What's up, Joe? How's it going, man? Yeah, the Eagles did well, dude. The line was short, so it was like minus 215, I want to say, before kickoff yesterday, and they destroyed the Titans. They are such a great team, Joe. You're lucky to have them. Although we have the Bills here, an hour away from me. That's my team. Hell of a card. Yeah, I know. There's only 2 more cards this year, by the way. This pay-per-view and then one more, the Strickland Cannon year. It's kind of weird that that's the last one. Like I almost feel like they should have, the pay-per-view the last one, Marcel, but they stopped doing the pay-per-view. Remember they used to do it on New Year's Eve? They don't do that anymore. Remember they used to do it like
a couple of years ago. The last one was Nunes against
Cyborg. Yeah, right.
So,
that card was so good. That fight was. I remember watching it with my boy James, my boy Steve, from the Hammer podcast. It was great. But yeah, I remember watching it with James. That was like 5 years ago now, 6 years ago, I think, or maybe not that long. 4 or 5 years ago. Anyway,
it sucks so hard. We got a month without fights, man.
It does suck. It's time for me to, focus on some other things, Marcel, that I need to, that we've talked about in private. But I love watching the fights. There is a Ryzen card, Bellator Ryzen, on like the New Year's, I think. So there's
and also Cage Warriors.
And Cage Warriors. That's it though, right? So for like a month. So, but at the same time, Marcel, this is a year-long sport. It's not like football. Think about it. If you covered football, after February, it's the off season, right? For like 6 months or whatever.
Yeah, true.
And I'm talking about American football, not your football. Who do you want to see Wonderboy fight next? That's a great question, Marcus. I mean, obviously strikers. I think he's called out Masvidal like for a rematch. I don't think they'll do that fight. Masvidal, by the way, I don't think he'll even fight. And I heard he left his management. I don't know if is that true? He left the first round.
The Kawas, I don't think. I would be surprised if that's true.
I think that's what I read. Anyways, for Thompson is ranked number 6th. I don't know. I mean, because
let's go crazy to RDA.
You know what? I mean, that'd be a good fight. You know what, Marcel? I actually don't mind that. But the thing is, what's RDA going to do? Is obviously going to shut down.
True, but if he wants to have strikers, he only has rematches, dude.
What about Michel Pereira? Like, that's a guy he's called.
Yeah, that's number
ranked
14.
Lower, right?
But yeah.
Or D-Rod, same thing, right? Or someone like that. Unless they gave him like, and again, if they fought, like if he moves up, if he fights up, it's like Covington or Usman. Like they're just bigger, stronger wrestlers. Like
do the Luka rematch.
You could do that. The first fight was fun. Actually, well, Thompson honestly dominated the fight. I was gonna say Sean Brady, but he lost and got knocked out. They probably won't do that. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question.
Difficult.
It is. Maybe someone switches a division or something. Maybe someone drops down and moves up. I don't know, something like that. Maybe he moves up. I mean, where is he in the welterweight rankings right now, guys? He's number 6, but he's not going to be in the top 5 because they're all grapplers. They're going to take him down. They're already proven that. So he's in a weird spot. Like they can give him fun fights. If that's what they're going to do, they give him Michel Pereira for 5 rounds in a fight night card. I mean, that fight would sell itself, right? So
give him Conor in July.
Well, RDA wants Conor, and
I know.
In 2016 when that fight happened, obviously I was going to bet on Conor. I would put a lot of money on RDA to beat Conor, and I know you would. I mean, you would pick him too, obviously.
Yeah.
Like I think we all would. I think RDA would absolutely destroy Conor at this point, guys. But again, 6 years ago was a different story before that Nate fight and whatever happened. Got some more comments here. This guy's talking about the Minner fight. If you watch from investigative Fed perspective, fight is disturbing. Dude, it's so sketchy, bro. I completely agree. He says Kroos is the ultimate douchebag. He's just not a good dude, man. He screwed over so many people, guys. Like, what's up, John? Fabe went from minus 145, minus 330, 30 minutes when people are fixed was on Minner. Yeah, these guys are screwed. They're so dumb for doing this. Kroos gave up, this is John's comment, Kroos gave up millions between coaching, FAC, and investing in properties for me and cashing through his career away. He's an absolute greedy guy, and it screwed himself over. What's up, Joe? Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that, Antoine. Thanks, man. We always appreciate you in the chat, obviously, my man. Alex Eddie Parlay Levy, Roman Rowe, Wonderboy. Nice parlay, dude. 100 to win, almost 2,000. Very nice parlay. Good job. Kroos, 36 years old, threw for what? For money. For money, dude. Greed gets a lot of us, I know, honestly, Marshall, isn't greed one of the 7 sins or whatever it is? Like, I think
so, yeah.
Right? So it's gluttony, though, to be fair. And, that's something that, sometimes I ignore. But I know you know what I'm talking about, Marcel. We're both hungry dudes. If Wonder Boy wants good style fights, the Masvidal, yeah. I mean, they could do the rematch. Look great. Never see Holland get dropped. Yeah, he looked good. I mean, he looked great. Like, the guy is 39. He looks way younger than that. He fights younger than that. I mean, yeah, he's a young 39-year-old, that's for sure. All right, let's go to the next fight, Marcel. Wow, we really have it. Let's get through this card because we done one fight. Talked about Kroos a lot. Let's just go through some of these other fights kind of quickly. A lot of finishes. RDA submits Bryan Barberena. Honestly, no surprise he won. I figured he'd win. Size didn't prove a problem at all. Took him down easily, submitted him. And now, 170, like you said, could fight Thompson or something. That fight makes sense. I mean, they both fought in the same card. They're both ranked. I guess RDA should be ranked, honestly, at this point. I mean, I think, a guy like D-Rod is great, but, RDA's got a win over Neil Magny, who's ranked pretty high in the division. So, anyways, any quick thoughts on this fight? I guess just don't give Barberena any more grapplers, right?
Yeah, it was like RDA did what he had to do. You're not going to play the game with Barberena. I want to play, obviously. And some people do, but RDA didn't. RDA made sure that he played his own game. And first round, he almost submitted him, but he couldn't get the free space to get that arm triangle choke, right? And second round, he grabbed his back, rear naked choke. Good win for RDA, dude. A solid win. Shows he still has it. And, happy for RDA. I'm sad for Barberena at the same time. But, hey, man, he wants that Ponzinibbio fight. I mean, can do that. Why not? There are more guys.
RDA said he wants that fight?
No. Barberena wants the
for this weekend. Yeah, because we're going to talk about the next podcast. Yeah, obviously Lawler's injured, right? So that fight's off. Honestly, though, like, I think I gotta be honest, guys. I think that Ponzio would have absolutely destroyed him. After seeing him get destroyed by Barberena, I don't think Lawler had a puncher's chance, but Ponzio was a better fighter at this point. I think. What's up, Anthony? He's talking about Eric. So we'll talk about the next podcast. I want to save that. Clinical win for RDA did look great. RDA screwed me on that over. I mean, I think that's what most people thought it would be a decision, but he's got great submissions, guys. Like, again, he submitted Magny, how easy that was. Maybe 170 is a better weight class for him at this point. Yeah, it's possible. Maybe. Yeah, Lawler's off. Lawler versus Ponzinibbio was canceled. Lawler's injured, I think.
Yeah.
Brett Okamoto reported that. Randy Brown's called for the fight. Bryan Barberena's called for the fight. We'll see who they give him. Have you heard anything?
No, I'm honestly happy that came out because I heard that 45 minutes before Brad posted that, and somebody told me in private, and he was like, "Don't tell anybody." And I was like, "Fuck, dude, I have this podcast tonight, and then we're going to act like it's still on." But I'm happy it's out now.
Yeah.
No, I saw Barberena ask for the fight, Randy Brown asked for the fight, and Impa Kasanganay asked for the fight. So
I mean, Impa's interesting because I think he's done well, I believe, on the regional scene. Didn't he just knock out Jared Gooden, I think it was, right?
yeah, but it's kind of weird as well because I think Impa is training at the Kill Cliff as well right now, right? Oh no, that is not actually.
No.
Weird
They'd be training with Lawler. That makes sense then. Yeah. He is there. We'll see. Entire 8-hour workday career for Artie and Octagon. I mean, the guy's a legend. He's going in the Hall of Fame, you know. And the fucked up thing about his career is, I gotta be honest, when he started his UFC career, maybe got knocked out by Jeremy Stevens. I think he lost to Tyson Griffin. I think he lost his first 2 fights in the UFC. I think he lost a split to Griffin. Bro, I gotta be honest. I'm like, this guy's not good at all. And he got better, and he became one of the best fighters in the world. Now he's one of the best fighters of all time. Crazy, eh? Like, it just shows you, Marcel, you can lose your first fight in the UFC and like Magomed Ankalaev, for instance, and bounce back and become a great. And he's a legend. Already is going to the Hall of Fame. Go ahead.
Didn't he also beat George Soteropoulos back then? And that was
a big upset. I think, right? Yeah.
George also lost to Seaver, which was also a big upset.
That was a big upset too. Yeah. I remember that. George Soteropoulos was like on a nice win streak at that point. Yeah, I remember. That's a name from the past. Marcel, crazy. It's not even that long ago. It's like 10 years ago, but he was a great lightweight for a while. All right, next fight here. Matheus Nicolau knocks out Matt Schnell. Honestly, no surprise, Marcel. Matt Schnell doesn't have a good chin. That weight cut must have been tough. I mean, he had to shave his head to make the weight. So I thought the fight was honestly pretty bad to watch. I got to be honest with you. I did not enjoy watching. I was getting a headache watching Matheus Nicolau just go backwards, side to side. It was giving me a headache. I mean, he had a smart game plan, but watching it was hurting my head for some reason.
You were just sleepy, dude.
I was so tired. The card was on so late. I wish it started at 4. I was really tired.
Bro.
Anyways, yeah. I mean, he got the knockout. You look good, I guess. I'm just saying, like, it was giving me a headache watching the guy move.
But these guys are idiots, man. With that time frame, they got how many fights? I think 8 fights in a 3-hour time frame, and they got lucky because they wouldn't have 9 fights, in a 3-hour time frame. It's like so stupid. And then they had the 7-fight main card that started at was that? It's 10 p.m. Eastern time. It's a 7-fight main card. I mean, I know it's on ESPN, but we're always fucked here in Europe when it's on big ESPN because they always start at 4 a.m. the main card, man. It's really a late card,
For sure.
And even for you guys, it's late.
I don't mind the pay-per-views once a month being like a late start. That's fine. But like these fight night cards should start at like 4 or something, like, or 1. It's just my opinion, anyways. I don't know, George. Honestly, I'm not sure why this one was a late start.
ESPN.
Nico's dream think you get 50K. I mean, he got the knockout, but like there was just so many finishes on this card that were better than his, in my opinion. If Artie and Connor hadn't fallen through the whole trajectory, everyone's career would be different. It's crazy, man. Like that whole thing, right? With Nate Diaz coming in and stuff.
It's a thing with ESPN, Adam, man. If it's at ESPN Plus, they can adjust the time earlier, But if it's a big ESPN, they got to have the TV time set. And mostly other sports are on before, I think. That's the big problem.
For sure.
And about Nicolau, beautiful knockout, well done. But like I said, man, the Matt Schnell's kind of a gatekeeper in the division, so I expected it.
Yeah, I've been. What's up, Daniel? How's it going? He said he's been improper with his betting, changing strategy. What'd you change? I've also kind of changed my strategy too. I look back at kind of like I've been looking at like what I call like leaks, like things that like you're not profitable on, and like I realized like especially like last year, for instance, I was down a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit, and then like I realized like, hey, I'm picking too many underdogs. Like they'll win occasionally, but like the majority of not majority, but like we talked about last week, like 2/3 of the favorites win for the most part. So if you pick a dog, you got to be pretty sure about it, and the odds have to be like pretty good. I think
a dog is a dog.
Like Phil Rowe, for instance, like I had so much confidence in winning that fight. I'm like, Nico Price takes so much damage. He's fighting a guy with a huge reach. And after he missed weight too, I was like, okay, you know what? Yeah, he's cheating, but it helps me. But of course I couldn't bet on it because of Chris. What's up, JPH? How's it going? Good afternoon. Or good evening, man. It's 5:30 now. Hey, they only interviewed the main card fighters. Yeah, because they didn't have time. That's why. They ran out of time. Sergey Pavlovich destroys Tai Tuivasa. I mean, the guy's the real deal. There's no doubt. I thought Tai was swinging back, Marcel, but just didn't have the reach, didn't have the ability to land, and Pavlovich just destroyed him. I mean, think about it. Cyril Gane struggled with this guy in his last fight. Cyril Gane is one of the best heavyweights. This just shows you how good Pavlovich is, in my opinion. This is such a big win for him. Like, at this point, Marcel, 5-fight win streak. You look at the names he has, are very nice, all by knockout. I'm thinking he should be fighting someone like a Curtis Blades next, quite frankly. Like, I think he needs to fight someone that is at the top of the division. He deserves it. What do you think?
I think Pavlovich needs to headline a fight night card, and I think Curtis Blades perfect opponent. Book it for a 5-rounder and see if Curtis can get him into deep waters. I think that's the thing I want to see. And if Pavlovich can go through that and wins again, then he's ready for his title shot, I think, because that would be huge. And yeah, man, I think I don't know who you got, who you picked in the Pavlovich tie anymore, but yeah, I said as well will be a knockout in the first round. I went with Pavlovich because I thought that also Tuivasa coming back so soon, September when he fought Gane, was a really got a lot of damage in that fight, and Pavlovich looked really good, man, against Lewis. I thought, and many people were complaining about that stoppage. Remember?
Yeah,
and. Well, they cannot complain about this stoppage, I guess. I mean, this was a pretty clear one. And, yeah, well done by Pavlovich. And you saw he had a huge reach advantage in this fight.
Yeah.
And you saw Tuivasa couldn't barely touch him because he couldn't, how do you say that, pass that gap with the reach, So, yeah, good win for Pavlovich, man. Looking forward to what's next for him. I really think he should fight Blades. Yeah.
He's great, man. A couple more comments. Yeah, I was talking about the strategy. Doesn't bets even money or lower. Don't put my eggs in one basket. I like that too. Makes sense. Although, like, again, I think a dozen bets is a lot, but if it's working for you, then keep doing it. Like, whatever works for you. Like $300. I usually do try to pick 3 as well. Like about that. Not every card. It just depends. Like the last card though, I did pick 3. This card, I only got one of them though. Unfortunately, I still got one, and that was the one I would have bet on. Fucking betting ban. It's so stupid. Anders look good. We'll talk about him in a second. Yeah, Pavlovich Blades would be good. Someone talked about that here. Let's go to the next fight. Roman Dolidze. I mean, to me, this was kind of the surprise of the night. I got to be honest with you, Marcel. Like, the fight was going how I thought in the first round. Hermanson won the first round. He looked good. And then second round, Dolidze got the fight to the ground and was able to, get that, like, weird, what was it, like a calf slicer position? I don't even know what it was. Like,
it was.
Right? And then takes his back and just pounds the shit out of Jack Hermanson and finishes Jack Hermanson. Like, I mean, this is a big win for this guy, man. Like, this gets him in the top 10. People have knocked Jack out, like Cannonier and Santos knocked him out, but it was like a knockout, like on the feet. Like, no one's taken his back and pounded the shit out of him like this. This was actually like when he fought Talis Ladies. It was the same thing when Hermanson fought Ladies. He got his back and pounded him out. I didn't expect this, Marcel. I got to be honest with you.
Me neither, but I mean, Hermanson looked good in the first round, but he couldn't do anything anymore when Roman had him in his calf slicer. He had him on his, he was straight on his body, He couldn't do anything. He couldn't. How do you say that? He couldn't go to the right side. He couldn't go to the left side because he would have torn a lot of ligaments in his knee, Was no way he could have got out of there. The thing was, the only thing he could hope was that Roman wasn't going to punch him or whatever, or was trying to get a submission somehow with a choke or something, and he could end it out into the second round or into the third round. But yeah, Roman did what he had to do, and he did it perfectly. He knew he had the calf slicer on, and was no way he was going to get out of that from that position where he was in. So yeah, good win for Dolidze. Will come into the top 10 this week.
Yeah,
and man, huge win for Dolidze. 12 days notice,
big, bro. It's so big for him.
Yeah,
it's massive. And we've got to give our boy Georgie a show because he was on here again. We keep doubting these Georgians, man. Like, it's more just because of short notice and because I think Hermanson's a good fighter. That's pretty. It wasn't because I don't think Roman's bad. Roman's good. I mean, he's really good.
I'll do everything to annoy Georgie and Al Zelino. So that's just my how do you say that? My thing in life. I have to annoy these two. So that's what I do. But no, I was thinking that Hermansson would win. Not because I think Dolidze is bad or anything, but short notice. And I mean, Hermansson, he's a solid fighter, I really think he's good. But yeah, props to Dolidze. What else can we say, right?
I agree. Eric Anders, another great performance. He didn't get a bonus, but like I feel like he could have, because man, he looked great, and obviously as an underdog wins this fight. Kyle Dawkins came back way too soon from that fight with Dolidze. Like, I watched his interview with Cole last week, and he talked about how he's like at first expected to be out for a year, and then his doctor cleared him. He was surprised, but he's like, okay, if I can fight and make money, I have to do it. The guy came back too soon. Like that knockout from Delize, like it was a brutal one, and he should have taken like a year off, which he said in the interview. That was his plan. His doctor, I think, didn't really do him a favor, Marcel, by clearing him so soon, in my opinion. Another absolutely brutal knockout. I think that was his last fight in his contract, guys. I think they're going to release him, quite frankly. Sad to say, because I think he's a pretty good fighter, but I think they're going to release him, Marcel. I really do. Any thoughts on that?
Dawkins just didn't look good. Every time Anjos hit him on the chin, he was wobbly. Yep. He was going down, and he tried to lure Anjos into pretty much a BJJ fight, a ground fight, which was Anjos wasn't looking for that at all. Yep. At a certain moment, clash of heads, and then at that moment, Dawkins was really done. He was already kind of done, but after that clash of heads, he was done at all. Yep. Nothing came anymore, and it was a matter of time before Anjos was going to finish the fight, and he did. Good for Anjos, man. A necessary win, I think. Although I still think he should have got the nod against Jung Park, but hey, I
think so too. Opinion. I mean, that's actually I remember betting on that fight, and I guess I'm obviously slightly biased because I did put money on it, but I try to watch these fights really unbiased because at the end of the day, like, there's no point in me coming here and being like, oh, I should have won my money. At the end of the day, I lost. But I really thought he won that fight 2-1.
That sucks, That sucks.
Yeah, it's tough, especially when the judges don't go your way, right? But that's part of the sport. And I talked about this Marcel. Luck goes both ways in sports betting. I did it enough to know now, like, you will get unlucky some games or fights, and other ones they'll go your way.
But sometimes you got the feeling that you're very unlucky the whole damn time.
Oh yeah, for sure. Sometimes you feel like you're snake bitten. Holland headbutt, Roland broke his face, Andrews broke his face. I mean, it's just crazy. He's a doctor when Chuck Elkins. That doctor, man. How did they let him fight? We'll talk about that fight in a sec. Our boy Phil Rowe, Marcel. Listen, he missed weight. Okay, I don't like that. I think he cost himself a bonus. Probably he cost himself $50K. That fight was really good though. Like I talked about Nico Price though, Marcel, like just too much damage, just a guy, he's a fun guy to watch, but like just taking way too much damage. Phil Rowe is a guy I'm actually quite high on him, Marcel. And I also thought he beat Gabe Green. I think he could be 4-0 right now in the UFC.
I agree.
So the guy's really good. It's unfortunate he missed weight. It's good. It hurt. He got fined 30%, which I think that's fine because you deserve to lose money. But I think this guy's really good. If he can make welterweight, because he's such a big welterweight. I mean, honestly, he's kind of cheating. I think this second time missing weight. Is that right?
I'm not sure.
Did he miss against Kossi too?
You should check.
I want to check the weigh-in there. I think he did miss weight in another fight, so I wanted to double check that because I don't want to call the guy out if he didn't. Let me double check that, guys. But yeah, I mean, I really enjoy watching the guy fight, but he's got to make that weight. Let me double check that. What's going on here? All right. Yeah, he did. He missed weight for that fight, 173.5. So both fights he missed weight. So 2 of his 4 fights, Marcel, he's missed weight. And welterweight, they might force him to move up to middleweight, guys. I mean, that's the problem. And at middleweight, he won't have that reach advantage, which I love having him at welterweight, Marcel. He's so big for this division. But you know what? If he can't make the weight, he shouldn't be fighting this division. And he missed it against Kossi and Price. So unfortunately, he probably have to move up. They might give him one more chance, but I don't know. Roll at the end, you press ups between rounds. Like, is that push up? I guess
push ups.
Okay. Yeah, between rounds, we're not to make weight. Without the missed Price, I had a much better chance. I agree. Honestly, like again, I hate to say it, but like when I saw that when he missed by like 3 pounds, I'm like, all right, this is actually good for our pick in a way because he didn't like kill himself to make that weight. Like Matt Schnell. Matt Schnell cut his hair, looked like a ghost on the scale, and he paid for it. He paid for it that knockout loss. All right, next fight here. And by the way, that moved up to the main card because, again, there were so many prelims. Let's go through some of these prelims kind of quick, Marcel, because a lot of these were decisions.
Yeah,
Andrew Hill defeats Emily Ducote. You know what? This fight wasn't even close. This was an absolute blowout. Wow. Like I told you, I'm like, I'm going to stay away from this because the judges might get involved, which they did. But I thought it'd be like a competitive fight. This fight was a complete wash, Marcel. I had 3-0, I think, easily, right? So any quick thoughts on this one?
I feel like Angela Hill was a step ahead of her everywhere, and was a really disappointed performance from Ducote, I think. What else can we say about it? I think it was a really disappointing performance by Ducote. I expected much more from her. Hill did perfect, did what she had to do, pretty much outclassed her and got 3 rounds in the back, and finally not a nail biting decision, but a clear one.
Yeah, I don't know. It's with she. I talk about this sometimes, right? Like sometimes a fighter just has a bad day. She might have just woke up that day not feeling it, because like how could she just be that bad from fight to fight? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Just had also again, Angela's underrated. Quite frankly, Marcel. I'm not good at picking her fights. She's a hard fighter to pick fights. Don't you think? Like she's always in these decisions where like I think she'll win and it goes the wrong way, and then the ones I think she'll lose, she wins them. So she's hard to pick, man. Clay Guida defeats Scott Holtzman. He's a dog that I thought had a chance for sure. Close fight. I did think Guida won 2-1. It was a split decision, but I think the judges got it right. What do you think?
I agree. I don't think Holtzman won. Sad for Holtzman to go out like that and not even getting an interview. Also,
or a win bonus.
Yeah. Also, Clay Guida was asking for the mic to have an interview.
Cut him off.
Yeah.
Too many fights, man. They had way too many fights in the prelims. Great call here by Mr. Marcel. I believe you picked Michael Johnson, right? That was a great pick by you. Great pick. Defeats Mark Diakiese. I think he was plus 320 at close. The odds were fucking nuts. These odds were crazy.
They all
great pick. I should have tailed you on this one, man. Go ahead.
Apparently, many people forgot that Michael Johnson is a wrestler from the beginning, and he can wrestle with Diakiese. I feel like it wasn't a blowout. I think Diakiese won the first round. I had Michael Johnson the second and the third.
Yeah.
But I feel like the only guy who thought that Diakiese won was Diakiese.
Didn't win the fight. It was pretty clear that Johnson won. Yeah. I mean, I think he's on a little bit of a resurgence, Marcel, because again, I thought he definitely beat Chayton Malarkey. That's such a robbery. And then he beat Alan Patrick. So he really should be 3-0 this year. And that's nice to see from a guy who's 36 who obviously had a lot of injuries, took so much time off. It's nice to see him back on track. I've always liked him, to be honest with you. I always liked Michael Johnson. he's a fun guy to watch.
I like that actually what Marcus says. I think that's good.
Michael Johnson, dude, I would actually be down for this. I got to be honest with you. When they first fought, I was shocked that he won that fight. I was really shocked. I think honestly, you'd have to favor Michael Johnson, wouldn't you, in a rematch, right? You'd have to, eh? You can't pick Tony. There's not many guys you could pick.
At this moment, no.
She was talking about the commercials. Yeah, a lot of you guys have mentioned that. A lot of them on this card. Let's go to the next fight. We'll go through this rest of this card pretty quick. Jonathan Pierce defeats Darren Elkins. I remember when this fight got announced, Marcus, who's in the chat right now, he messaged me and he's like, what do you think the odds will be? I'm like, I'm pretty sure it'll be like -400 or 500. This it was just an easy fight. Let's be honest. More so like Darren Elkins and we talked about the damage, right? This was even more than usual. Like he was bleeding more than usual. Honestly, the doctor should have stopped the fight, in my opinion. Like I'm shocked that they didn't. They did. It's just because of his reputation of being tough. They should have stopped that fight. What do you say?
After 10 seconds, he was already bleeding again. 2 front kicks.
Bro, they should have stopped this fight. I really think they should have. What do you think?
The thing is Darren Elkins, so they're not going to do it probably. But I agree with you. Yeah, I mean, dude, that's so much damage again. And he seems to enjoy it, After that, he posts a picture on his social media, and he's like, "Wasn't my night this night?" And with a fully bloody face, where he was like, "This."
Looking right now. Oh shit! No way! Look at this guy. I gotta share this one, guys. This is crazy. He's a crazy dude. I mean, honestly, like I really think he should hang them up. But like, I'm not gonna make that decision. But check this out, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
Bro, this cut was so bad. Like it's not the blood. It's just the cut was in a bad spot. Like he was getting the shit kicked out of him. They should have stopped the fight. His corner could have also thrown the towel in my opinion, in this fight.
He got an ugly tattoo, but he is the only one I allow it actually to have a tattoo like that, because that tattoo is 300% truth. You know
what's funny? I remember when he got the tattoo, I tweeted about. I'm like, man, this is like got to be one of the worst all-time MMA tattoos. And Brian Stan, I don't know if he's been on Twitter anymore, but he used to follow me. We talk on Twitter sometimes, right? Former UFC comment. I really like Brian Stan, by the way. He was an awesome great fighter too. He was just like, he's like, I kind of agree with Adam. This is a really bad tattoo. I thought that was really funny. Pierce's tat is not great either. It's like a
that like traffic board.
No, it's a wrestling mat. That's what it is.
What is
wrestling
it?
Mat. Yeah, it's a wrestling.
Oh, it's a wrestling. I always thought it was a traffic board.
No, it's not. I saw David Mashad. I think he trains with him.
Yeah.
Like, right? They train together. The Bulldog. He tweeted about it because someone was like, "What kind of tattoos is it?" And he's like, "It's a wrestling mat or something."
Okay.
So. Jack Dello wants Ponzio 185. I don't think they'll do it. It'd be a good fight though. Yeah, Marcus won JSP minus 200. Yeah, we're going to get him at that price, my friend. Barberena staying back up. Oh yeah, that's right. The commentators were like, "Hey, this fight should be on the ground. This should be on the ground." And at that point it was too late. Circle the cigarette in the middle. Apparently, it's a wrestling mat or something. That's what I've been told. All right, couple more fights here quickly. Excuse me. Natan Levy defeats General Valdez. I mean, this fight was another one I thought was a really good fight to bet on because the odds were like minus 200, and General Valdez, Marcel, is just not good. I'll be honest with you. I don't think he's UFC caliber. They might give him one more because he's on that 12-12 contender deal, but he's not very good, you know?
He has no defense. That's the problem. He has no defense.
None at all. Natan Levy's not bad. He's not great, but he's not bad. Couple more fights. Francis Marshall, man.
Ooh.
I wasn't sure about this one, right? I really wasn't because I like Rojo. Yeah, honestly, looking back at it now, especially with the whole Kraus thing and all that situation, like I probably should switch my pick, although that was later in the week when I found out. And I don't really like, switching my picks, but based on that information, I probably should have just switched the pick. But Marshall looked amazing. I mean, yeah. I mean, like he's only one fight in his career now, obviously, but he's only 23 years old. He's a fun guy to watch, man, and he's got crazy power. This was a crazy knockout over Rojo, who, by the way, is 0-3 now with 3 stoppage losses. He probably gets cut, although they might give him one more because he is an exciting guy, but I don't know. Any quick thoughts on that fight?
Yeah, and he's Brandon Moreno's training partner, so maybe
might give him one more. Yeah.
Yeah. Not. I mean, a good win for Marshall, and for Rojo it sucks. He's an entertaining fighter, but 3 losses, 3 stoppages. Yeah, we'll see what they're gonna do next. And this was against a contender series guy, right? So
for sure. UFC Orlando have the most underdog wins at UFC card in 2022. It might have because I think there was what? Let me count it. Let's go from the top. Thompson, Dolidze, Anders, Rowe, Hill, Guida, Johnson. So what? 7 out of the 14. I mean, yeah, and I called only one of those. So I think you called 2, right? You called 2 of them. So it was a tough card to pick, man. Honestly, again, you got to pick your spots, right? Unless you're super confident, don't bet on it, in my opinion. This fight was super confident opening fight, although
you got shocked at the first round.
Bro, I was like, holy shit, she's gonna lose this? Are you kidding me? She gets dropped. Obviously, Yasmin Uriagui, I'm talking about Nunes dropped her, and then like Nunes does in all her fights, so gasses out every fight. He's tired in every fight. Like again, fun. I like that. I told you this was a fun fight on paper because there's 2 strikers, but Yasmin is the real deal, man. 23 years old. I like this girl. I mean, she's gonna go places in her career. I was surprised this was the opening fight in the card, but I guess they wanted to put a banger on to open the card, and it was. Any quick thoughts on that? And that'll be the last fight to talk about on this card. Go ahead.
She's amazing, dude. I watched the first few fights with my dad, and he was like, he doesn't know the more unknown fighters yet. So he's like, is she good? I was like, I love Jasmine. She's really good. She's a real big talent. And then she got knocked down. And he's like, you sure? I was like, yeah, I'm sure. She's good. I mean, you saw in the first round, she was still the better fighter, although she got knocked down. Second round, she took over and she finished it, man. She's really good. She's 10-0 now in her career. Look really good. Hope to see her in getting a step up in competition next, man. I think she can be a future contender, man. She's
great, man. Like you said, she's fun to watch. I bet Yasmin after the first. Dude, if I could have, I would have pulsed I'm so angry now. Great experience for Yasmin. Overcame with early diversity, changed her game plan with 5, put her on the Stella, beat her bad. Star rise for her eyes. She's great. Oh, yeah, this was another fight. Dude, we're going to have 15 fights. What? Tracy Cortez, what happened? Bad weight cut? What happened?
I heard a rumor, but I don't know if it's true, so I don't know if I should say it.
You wanted to say it? Why not just say
it? But don't hang me up on it. I only heard it. So I heard that she might be pregnant with Brian Ortega. I don't know for sure. So
I thought that's what you were about to say, to be honest with you. I guess that would make sense, right? You can't have someone who's pregnant fighting. I think they just got married recently from what, because she changed her name.
She's called Tracy Ortega,
Yeah, they changed on UFC stats too, or no? They changed.
No, still Tracy Cortez.
Okay, but her Instagram is different, unless they're
just like T-Shap Pennington right now.
What a beautiful baby that would be. I mean, they're both good-looking people, so yeah. I loved Rivas in that fight too. I think we both did, But again, anyways, what Marcel said just now, like he said, it's what he heard. It's a rumor. What was the chick that fought pregnant? Oh, that was Yannick Kunitskaya. Was that?
Yeah, but that was not true. She said she was pregnant with Santos, but it was April Fool's Day when.
Oh yeah, that's right. She was lying about it, and then they actually got pregnant. A few months later. rip career. No, there's a lot of women fighters that have like that's the difference, right? Men don't have to we don't have to concede.
I mean, there are so many mothers in the UFC right now.
Now.
You got Michelle Watterson.
Bro, Yasmin Yerwagri's got a daughter.
It's also a mother.
Or a son, I mean. She's got a son. And her son is like, I want to say he's like
4 or 5, I think.
Maybe even older than that. Like she had him like probably when she was like 17, 18 years old. I don't know for sure, but like super young, obviously. And
Montana
she's doing fine. Who? Oh, De La Rosa. Yeah, another fighter.
She was 17, I think.
She had a kid before she met her husband, I think.
Yeah.
Right? Mark De La Rosa, former UFC fighter. There's other ones too.
Ostovich, when she was in the UFC.
Sarah McMahon, does she have a kid? McMahon, I think she does, right?
Yeah. Misha Tate.
There's a lot, man.
Kat Zingano.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of fighters. I don't think their careers are necessarily ruined. Duran, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a young single mom.
Juliana Pena.
Pena, yeah, that's another one. How do they find out after the cut? Seems like they discovered it earlier. Well, I don't know if we know for sure, but like what Marcel's saying makes sense. I mean, they do like, yeah, I know what you're saying though. Like, I don't know. It's the whole thing's, you know. I remember when I found I was gonna have a kid, you know, just happened. You know, Marcel, like she misses the period, and then you're like, okay, is it just, you know, nothing, or is it a kid? And it turned out, I remember like got the stick and was like,
it just happened. My dick fly out of my pants. It just happened. I don't know how that comes.
You're a funny dude, but I just remember like getting that stick that or whatever it is, like the pregnancy test. You know, it's like a COVID test thing.
Yeah,
and we were looking at it, and like the line was so faint. I'm like, go to the store and buy another one. And when she went, I was like, oh my god, she's definitely pregnant. And like that was 2 years ago. I remember it. Honestly, it was like one of the happiest days of my life, though, you know, looking back at it. The TJ just retired UFC watch. Oh, really? UFC roster watch? I don't know. I'm not sure, John. I don't necessarily trust it, you know, the UFC roster watch. Like, it's a good resource, but it doesn't mean it's true sometimes, right?
The thing with UFC roster watch is that he, it's like an automatic generated thing, you know.
A logarithm or whatever they call it, right?
When somebody is like out of the rankings, it pops up, you know, but it doesn't mean he's out. Sometimes it's a contract thing, you know, he is out of contract or something, you know, so it's not always really true, you know what I mean? So people, even I see sometimes people writing articles about it, like, okay, he's cut from the UFC. It's like, this is really like, I don't know if it's a good thing to how do you say that, to write an article about it when you have your source as UFC roster watch, you know what I mean? And there's nothing against roster watch, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's something to like think about, but I'm with you. Like it doesn't mean that excuse me, guys. Doesn't mean, you know, they got cut for sure. All right. Last couple comments, guys. Michael Wanzer works for Cejudo, said TJ retired. Okay, that's interesting. Well, we'll see what happens. All right. Let's end this podcast, Marcel, and we'll start the new one because we're going to do preview of UFC 282. So let's just end it here, Marcel. Really quick, plug your stuff. Let's get out of here, and we'll start the new one up in a minute here. Go ahead.
Why should I? I mean, if you guys don't know yet what the hell are we? No, I'm just kidding.
It's Big Marcel, you're right. You're 100% right. I mean,
Big Marcel 24, Twitter, Instagram, and Eurosport.nl mixed martial arts.
No, you're right. It's just like a habit. MMA Adam Martin, obviously. Like, share, subscribe to the podcast, guys. MMAOBDailyPodcast.com. Also, bookies.com, MiamiNews.com. All right, we're going to get out of here in just in a second here, and then we'll start the new podcast. So just bear with us for like a moment here, guys. We're going to do the UFC 282 preview. All right, see you guys in a minute. Bye.